Hi, everyone. It's Lori. I don't have a hook for you today. I have nothing to keep you on this video, but I'm going to ask for you to just sit tight and hear me out. This isn't the video I planned for this week. And I actually did a different video yesterday that I second guessed myself and decided to delete it. But as the day ticked on today, I still have things on my heart that if it can even help just one person, then it's worth it. So we've had I've had news come across my feed this week that has really left my heart heavy. It has left me lost. It has left me questioning certain things. So I thought this would be a good time to come share with you folks different things you can do when things feel out of your control. Whether it's in your own personal life or whether it's in the world, it doesn't matter. If there's a situation where you're feeling overwhelmed or angry or sad or just lost the way I feel, first of all, I see you. I know what you're feeling, and also know the feelings are understandable. I've been on this earth almost 60 years, and I've lived through a lot. I've seen a lot of difficult moments in our country's history. And what I've learned through the decades is something I guess I want to share with you. It's the reason for the video. And certainly not because I have the answers, but because I've seen how much power we actually have. It's something I have learned. Even when everything feels out of our control, we have the power within each one of us to control our feelings, to control our emotions. So wherever you're standing right now, we can either let the situation pull us deeper into despair, and then we can let that despair, spread to our family and to our friends and our coworkers and the people around us. Or we can learn how to process that. And we can learn how to process what we're feeling, and we can become an example for our family and friends. And this certainly isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's not about ignoring what has happened or what you're feeling. It's about recognizing, like I said, that you have the power within yourself. I'm so tired of people outsourcing their power to external circumstances. That's not the case, folks. You have the choice. And here's what I know to be true. You can't always control what happens in the world. You cannot control other people's reaction to things. You cannot control the news cycle. You can't control social media. Oh my goodness, social media or political outcomes. But you can control how you respond. You can control what you feed your mind. You can control whether you become part of the problem or you become part of the healing. For decades growing up, there was two things that were always off topic, that we weren't allowed to talk about, and that was politics and religion. Never quite understood why, but obviously as I've gotten older, people become even less tolerant than they were 50 years ago. And I don't think that was a rule back then because the world was perfect back then. Absolutely not. I just think back then our relationships and our families, I don't know, they had a greater meaning, I think, than they have today. And I also think social media, right? Oh my goodness, the power that we have at the tip of our fingers. And certainly the younger generation, my children's generation, they are wizards, wizards with the technology. They can find information that I didn't even know existed. So that may be a reason even today. And I know this may sound a bit simple or even cliche, but the greatest force we have is love. And there is definitely evil in the world. There's no doubt about that. But I feel there is more love and there is more good people than there is evil. Wholeheartedly believe that. I just don't think we ever hear about it. I don't ever think we hear about it. I know it's probably what doesn't sell, right? It doesn't sell, so we don't hear about it. And man, things happen, and social media has, the information out there so fast. I'll be honest. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but sometimes I don't know how our younger generation does it. Okay. 24/7 of the world and life always being on. God bless them. If I have any of my community that is between the 20 and 30-year-olds, You did not create this world. But I will say, like I tell my kids, you have a choice every day to make the world better. You have that power. You have that power. And I tell my kids every day, make the best choices you can every day. Make good choices. So when your body is in an uproar from the news cycle or just from something that's going on in your life, just know that you can choose peace. You can choose to respond with love. And you can choose to, instead of reacting with anger, you can choose to react with love, kindness, and prayers. I said just a minute ago that love is one of our greatest abilities, and that is so true, but so is prayer. Don't ever forget how powerful prayer is. It's what's gotten me through most of my life. And one other thing that I will say about, when you're filled with that love and that kindness, you ever walk into a room, I think we've all done this, you walk into a room, you walk into a meeting, a gathering, whatever it is, and there's always somebody in that room that sort of just all the people are, congregating around. And that's because that person's energy is off the charts. And love is one of the highest frequencies that you can have. So I know I would prefer to lead with love. And I would prefer to be the one that everybody congregates around in a room. So I guess I'm asking you to remember today that you have the power. Have, you can make the right choices. You can stop outsourcing your peace to external circumstances. And you can start creating from within. And, I said that I believe there's more good than evil in this world, and that is true. I also believe that we are more alike than we are different. I do believe that a majority of us all want the same thing. When you tear everything apart, we all want the same thing. We want to be able to afford our rent. We want to be able to afford groceries and put healthy food on our table for our family. We want to feel good. We want to feel healthy. We want our family to be healthy. We all want the same thing. We all want to feel like we matter, that what we do matters. There's more that brings us together than should tear us apart. I guess it's the values that we carry, right? The values that we all hold is a bridge to each other. But when we start putting labels on each other, I think that's when we start tearing each other apart. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That was not about this. The message here is you have the ability to create peace in your life, no matter what your external circumstances are. And I just want you to remember that underneath all the noise, you can choose peace and you can be part of the healing. So I want to leave you with three things that I do. They're part of my world. And I won't get too deep into them, but the first one is journaling. And I don't necessarily mean, go get a journal and just start journaling like a diary. Just do a brain dump. Do a brain dump of everything that is bothering you, that is going through your head. And don't sit and think, just riff with it. Whatever comes. Then go back and ask yourself, well, why does this bother me? What is the intangible thing underneath that is causing you dis-ease? Okay. And one of the things that actually, I was just listening to a podcast this morning, The Diary of a CEO, and sorry, but I don't remember the guest he had on, but this guest talked about the scientists have since learned that depression, that every time that we fall into a deep, dark depression, it actually increases our chances of dementia when you're older. And I believe it was as much as 50%. 50%. Okay. You owe it to yourself to do what you need to do to keep the peace in your body. Okay. So the first one is the brain dump, the journaling. The second one is breathing. Okay. It's amazing for your nervous system. And when you breathe in through your nose. And you breathe in I do a count to 4, then you hold it for a count of 4. And then I exhale, and you exhale through your mouth, and you do that for a count of 8. You can switch up those numbers. You can do what is comfortable for you, but whatever you do when you're exhaling, always have it be longer than your inhale. Try and do 5 to 10 of those. And then lastly, this is my favorite. You got to get outside in nature and let Mother Nature do her thing. Okay. If you can walk barefoot in the grass, if you can, turn your face up towards the sun, smell that sweet air, that might be out there. There's so many different things. One of the things, one of the games that I like to do is I'll go look for three things that make me happy. Sometimes I just walk out my door. Sometimes I do it when I'm walking. Identify and say out loud the three things. Maybe it's a flower coming up through the sidewalk as you're walking. Maybe it's a hummingbird that's literally fluttering, either over to your feeder or a flower you have in your garden. But name three things. And then two things you hear. Again, maybe it's the hummingbird. Bzz, or maybe, it's another bird, or maybe it's the ocean crashing. Just list two things that you can hear. And then lastly, list something that you can feel. Go feel something, It, and if there's nothing around, if you can't go like touch a flower, feel the sun on your skin. Feel that breeze go across your skin. Whatever it may be. Hold someone's hand. When you go for a walk outside, hold someone's hand. So those are three things that you can do immediately that will help bring peace back into your life. And I know they sound simple and they probably sound like they wouldn't do anything, but they do. I just said I've been in this world almost 60 years, and these things have helped me. And above all else, prayer has also helped me. Again, I just want to leave you with, I believe that our values are more alike than they are different. And that's all I'll say. I love you, and we will talk soon.